Welcome to Political Perspectives with the Washington Examiner. I'm Jim Antle, in for Hugo Gurdon, and I'm joined today by Chief Political Correspondent Byron York. Byron, it's after Labor Day. The cliche is that elections really start to matter and people start paying attention after the Labor Day holiday. But a lot of this really comes down to the 7 key battleground states. Where do you see things unfolding right now?
Well, as far as the 7 states are concerned, and so we're talking Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. As far as those are concerned, I think clearly, Democrats are much more enthusiastic now than they were when Biden was the candidate. I was just clear. And some of those states that I think some Republicans might have thought Trump had in the bag are probably in play now. So Georgia appears to be in play now, and North Carolina appears to be in play now. North Carolina is a state that Trump actually won in 2020, so it's pretty important that he win it again. Mm-hmm. So Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin are still quite close, although Harris appears to be ahead in Michigan and Wisconsin. There's another thing to think about, too, which is actually the popular vote, the national popular vote, because, there's a lot of talk about, given the Republicans' kind of built-in electoral college advantage, that a Democrat has to win the popular vote by a certain amount to make sure that he or she wins the electoral college. Right. And so it is true, if you look at 2016, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 2.1 percentage points and lost in the Electoral College. And in 2020, Joe Biden won the popular vote by 4.5 percentage points, and then he won in the Electoral College. So, somewhere in there is the difference.
But it was closer.
It was very close.
Yeah.
It was very close in the Electoral College. So right now you have, in the Real Clear Politics average of polls, you have Harris up by 1.9 percentage points, mm-hmm. which is, Trump was leading for a long time before the big switcheroo. But still, if that phenomenon continues, 1.9 percentage point lead in the national popular vote is not enough for Harris to get the job done.
So the debates are coming up, and it's going to be the first debate between Trump and Harris, but obviously the second debate of this presidential election cycle. And there's been a lot more haggling over debate terms and ground rules this time around. We're going to listen to a clip of one of the issues that's been a point of contention between the campaigns.
Trump, would you want the microphones muted in the debate whenever you're not speaking?
We agreed to the same rules. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have it probably on, but the agreement was that it would be the same as it was last time. In that case, it was muted. I didn't like it the last time, but it worked out fine. Ask Biden how it worked out. It was fine. But they're trying to change it. The truth is they're trying to get out of it because she doesn't want to debate. She's not a good debater. She's not a smart person. She doesn't want to debate.
And of course, as you hear there's even been a debate between the two candidates over which of them is more reluctant to debate.
Well, I've got to say I'm a little surprised by this one. It'll be no surprise to anybody that the Harris campaign does not tell me their innermost secrets. But I had thought this was settled a while back when AP leaked a story showing the rules that ABC, which is doing the debate, had distributed to both Trump and Harris, and it called for muted microphones. And I think, if you could somehow look at the June 27th Trump-Biden debate and put aside Biden's disastrous performance, the muted microphones actually made it a better debate. And right. I think viewers liked it better, certainly better than the debate in 2020 when Trump interrupted Biden every, second. So I think there's no doubt that muted microphones make the debate better. So I kind of thought it was settled, but then, we've seen time after time where the Harris campaign has either leaked or come out and said explicitly that they want unmuted live mics all the time, and that Trump is chickening out and he's trying to hide behind a muted debate. You know, they're pretty good gaslighters and trolls. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the question is, are they really pressing hard on this internally? Are they pushing ABC on this, or are they just using it to troll Trump? My guess is the latter, and that we'll have muted microphones. But I got to say, I don't know. On the other hand, you know, Trump always likes to build suspense before the debate. So I guess if we're all going to be in suspense about a microphone, you know, so be it.
There does seem to be some sense that Harris believes she would benefit from Trump talking over her, interrupting her, and maybe getting some moment where she can remind him, I'm speaking, Mr. Felon, Mr. whomever she wants to call him.
Yeah, she did that with Mike Pence. You know, the two debated in 2020. And so she did this I'm speaking thing.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well,
I'm speaking.
It'd be important if you said the truth.
The whole idea, the tone of it is that it's probably more sex related, like you're a man, you know, trying to talk over a woman and I'm going to be heard. You know, maybe there's a racial element to it too. I don't know, but I think it's mostly that. And so I'm speaking. It's kind of like nevertheless, she persisted. It's there.
Yes.
It's something that she could maybe rally supporters behind, I guess, you know, but like I said, is that enough to actually put the debate in jeopardy? It seems hard to believe that it would be, but yeah, she clearly wants an I'm speaking moment. And for all we know, there's lots of I'm speaking merch that has already been made. I don't know.
Right. And of course, there was Trump's such a nasty woman moment with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, that's right. The whole nasty women thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Didn't seem to alter the outcome of the election, but it was a memorable moment, and it did make it on some campaign merch.
Yes, and it could be all about the merch. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. So there's been this controversy about an appearance at Arlington National Cemetery marking the withdrawal from Afghanistan with some Gold Star families that were unhappy about the Biden administration's conduct of that withdrawal. Let's listen to a clip about Democrats are kind of drawing out this controversy, seem really interested in it, and we have a clip of former Senator John McCain's son discussing it.
I mean, to begin, you know, what Trump said about my father is irreprehensible. I mean, it's I've never forgotten it, and you know, to remind everyone, you know, John McCain was my father as well, and you know, he was the guy I went to when I skinned my knee. One of the main points of switching over and coming over has been, you know, like I said, I feel that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz embody a group of people that will help make this country better, that will take us forward. And that's really what matters at the end of the day.
So obviously there's been a lot of controversy between Trump and the McCain family dating back to the 2016 campaign, but there does seem to be an interest in sort of drawing this controversy out that maybe doesn't make intuitive sense for Democrats.
Well, you know, you try to figure out why are they making such a big deal out of it. Obviously, you know, the families, and this started with the families of a couple of the American military people who were killed at Abbey Gate 3 years ago. And there were 13 who were killed. Of those 13, I believe 3 are buried in Arlington. And one of the families, the woman said that her father is 80 years old and she didn't believe he'd be able to travel much longer. And she wanted him to come to Arlington one more time, and she wanted Trump to be there. Well, now, obviously, this fits Trump's political agenda in the sense that Trump has used the American withdrawal from Afghanistan, just the ugly and violent and just totally bungled withdrawal from Afghanistan as kind of Exhibit A against the Biden administration's ability to run foreign policy and also to maintain U.S. credibility in the world, because Trump traces some of the contemptuous events that have happened in the world, some of the violent events that have happened in the world, like the invasion in Ukraine and the terrorist attack in Israel, to this belief that the United States just is too, messed up to do anything. So obviously that's a Trump thing. And so he goes to Arlington, and they have a wreath ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknowns, which is fine. And they have gone ahead of time. The Trump campaign has been in contact with the Department of the Army, which administers Arlington. And by some accounts, the ground rules after that were a little vague or whatever, but clearly the Trump people believe they were able to clear a photographer in there with them. And the photographer did not shoot an ad or anything, but clearly some of the families wanted pictures of Trump with them in a place called Section 60. Section 60 is a 14-acre part of Arlington in which American servicemen and women who served in Iraq and Afghanistan are buried. And so it's a much livelier section than the section with World War I veterans. Obviously, there are widows, there are children, there are all sorts of people visiting Section 60. And so they go there, and Trump speaks to the families, and then they have pictures taken. And when the picture is taken, Trump does the thing that he always does when a picture is taken, is he does his thumbs up gesture.
Right.
And a couple of family members do the same thing. And there was a lot of outrage in the commentariat about, my goodness, how could Trump do such a thing in such a solemn, sacred place? I mean, literally standing by the gravestone of a American hero and all that kind of stuff. But, looking at people or talking to people who know what goes on at Section 60, there's all sorts of emotion. People experience all sorts of ranges of emotion there. People who've lost loved ones in the war, and sometimes they're in inconsolable grief, and sometimes they're laughing and telling jokes with people. I mean, hasn't anybody ever been to a wake? I mean, that's the kind of thing that can happen. So it seems to me that what happened at Arlington was not really outside the range of normal human life. But I think Democrats saw an opportunity to push the Trump suckers and losers slur that they've used quite a bit ever since it first appeared, I think, in the Atlantic a while back. And they just keep pushing it and pushing it. And, and what Jimmy McCain, the son of John McCain, says is, obviously that's an entirely personal statement that he's making. He's from a distinguished military family. He's served in the military as well. But it's a personal statement that he's making because his father and Donald Trump had such famously terrible relations.
Do you think it can have any impact in the campaign? I mean, obviously Arizona is going to be a very closely contested state.
Well, Trump has a lot of support in active duty and military veterans. I mean, just a lot of support. And so my guess is I don't think it makes that big a deal. And one of the things that made this kind of difficult was that, that you had some Gold Star families saying, oh, this is terrible. What Trump has done in Section 60 is terrible. And then, of course, Trump was invited by Gold Star families. I mean, obviously, it's not like Gold Star families are all going to agree on politics.
Right.
So, I think that it probably doesn't move the needle a lot. Maybe it moves it some among people who are not veterans. But, the ones who, hate Trump already hate Trump. They don't need any more reasons.
Thank you, Byron. And thank you for joining us at Political Perspectives with the Washington Examiner.